I am joined by my friend Gray, who I worked with for years. I've kept in contact with years after that. Had plenty of crazy adventures with, and we are talking. Inscryption was the game that Gray chose for the Children's Miracle Network donations, which is fantastic. I had never heard of this game prior to you mentioning to me. You threw out a couple of options for me. I went and looked at some trailers. Cult of the Lamb was one of those, which I had heard of but never played. Inscryption, I had never even heard of. So I watched that trailer and was like incredibly intrigued. Like just watching the trailer for this game was one of those like, what in the hell is this about? Like let's dive into it. And so I was ecstatic to jump in and play it. The one thing I will say before anyone kind of moves along is we are going to be full of spoilers. Like if you have not played Inscryption, like heads up right off the bat, like
get out of here.
We will be spoiling every part of this game. So if you're looking to play it, if you haven't played it, there's not really going to be a safe zone for that here. So go play it and then come back and watch this, because we will be discussing everything there is to discuss about Inscryption. So first off, Gray, welcome. Thank you for the donation. Like the money goes to a great cause, and it's absolutely appreciated. So thank you very, very much for that. First up though, where did you hear about this game? Because like I mentioned, I hadn't heard about it. Where did you hear about it? Why did you choose it?
Yeah, so I've played a number of these roguelike card deck building games in the past. I think the main one that people will be familiar with is Slay the Spire, obviously. It's a game that came out about 5 years ago now, and that really, kicked off this or at least restarted this genre. There have been a couple other games that I've played in that same vein, but then this was one that came along and it ended up in the Steam queue, and you just see like the double overwhelming positive on something, and you're like, okay, this is a genre I like, and I'm willing to give this a shot. And again, like we were talking about, you can't really say much about this game before you start giving things away. So, the top reviews on there said like, don't read anything else about this game, just go play it. And I was just like, this is gonna be one of those. So
just know it's good.
Just know it's good and trust me. And it was like, cool. I'm gonna go into it without spoiling myself in any way. And that's definitely the way. I'm gonna reiterate it again. If you have any intention of playing this game, leave now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so I didn't really like. I obviously the trailer like gave me the idea of the deck builder concept, which I've never been a huge like fan of that genre. Like I think I played the Pokemon card game. They did like a GBA version of Pokemon card game where you could like play Pokemon. I did that. And then I played like the Magic the Gathering iteration on like I want to say the Xbox 360, but I had never gotten into like unique sort of card games. And the trailer, the thing that jumped out to me was the found footage. Like I saw like the clips of the found footage, and I'm like, I don't know if that's part of gameplay or if it's just part of the trailer, but like I'm a sucker for found footage kind of stuff. So it's interesting to see the different perspectives. I did hop into Slay the Spire a little bit because that's like the one tidbit you had given me. It was like, I don't want to give anything away. Well, let's just say it's not Slay the Spire. It's not a Slay the Spire clone. I was like, okay, like that, I don't know what to go from that. And as I played through that first act, like I was like, okay, there's got to be more to it than that. But like, so looking at those other
card
games,
shell. It's in a shell, right? Where it looks like Slay the Spire for the first couple hours you're playing the game, and that was how I was actually still experiencing it, because I knew something was up, but like I thought it was just going to be more, I thought it was going to be, Act 1 was kind of what I thought the game was going to be, and I was having fun. And but then just like the twist with the Act 2, the found footage, Act 3, just definitely elevates this game to another level. What I think is interesting about Slay the Spire is, Slay the Spire has a huge focus on balance. So it's really just like it's a technical card game. They like patched it a bunch of times to make it so that everything was like very nicely tuned. There's a whole bunch of mods and daily challenges around it, but it's like there's an atmosphere to the game as well, right? And there's I expect with Slay the Spire 2 they're going to have a little bit more of the like the spooky element to it.
Yeah.
But it is first and foremost, it's about the card game that you're actually, it's like the technical card game. With with Inscryption, it's sort of a different deal. In my opinion, the card games, it's okay. It's not the best balanced, and they make a joke about it in the game about how broken Mantis God is, right? You're like, wait a minute, this card is way better than all the other cards.
And the like making your own card too. Like there's a certain point where like as soon as they hand those controls over to you, you know you've thrown balance out the window. And like it's very clear. Like as soon as they're like, well, go ahead, choose some powers you wanted to have. Like give it a life, give it an attack rating. Like at that point, you know you're throwing balance out the window. And that is like that's kind of the fun of it. And it is like you found that like I found that like you almost had to find those cheats. Like it was impossible until you found that, like until you understood how powerful Mantis God was, until you grasped that like the Ouroboros card. Like I talked to one of my other friends just last weekend and he had started playing this because he saw me on Xbox playing it and he got through it. And then I'm like, did you discover like the Ouroboros carrying from act to act? And he's like, whoa, wait, what? And I was like, oh, that was like the key to me. Like the second I realized like, oh no, Ouroboros carries from death to death. I thought it had just carried from death to death in Act 1. And I was like, oh, well, that's still super valuable. Like if I die, I can keep building up this card. And then when I realized it carried over to Act 2, I was like game changer. Where I'm like, all right, well, this is my card now.
I never bought it.
Really?
Like I never had it.
That should be an achievement right there because it was my saving grace.
Or if I did, I like didn't level it up or something. I don't remember exactly what it does, but I don't have a strong memory of Ouroboros in my run. I have strong memory of some very powerful Mantis gods that I do remember.
Yeah, that was my sweet spot for Act 1 was putting everything I could into Mantis God. So every campfire you got to, like Mantis God, Mantis God, Mantis God, and just giving it both, like doing it twice. Did you ever push the like campfire, like how you could take the risk and try it a second time? Did you ever try 3?
I don't think I ever tried 3.
Yeah, I didn't. I was too worried about it. I was curious if anyone like had success or saw what the percentages were.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like for me, 2, I started doing 2 every single time because I got to the point where like I only lost it once. And so I was like, okay, well, the percentages are for me. And like, I'm not going to pass it if I don't dump power into these cards.
Yeah, I didn't look up anything until after I had finished the game.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to, like, I'm here for this ride. So
yeah. I was pretty much the same case.
I played a very non-optimal run.
My Act 1 was, I mean, so I've kind of let you watch the gameplay footage. My Act 1, no joke, was probably at least 12 to 15 hours. I spent in Act 1.
I gotta go look up real quick my total time played in this game because it's not that much because I just did a single playthrough. It's a 14.8 hours total.
Oh, I was way more than that. I was probably close to that in just Act 1. But like I just kept getting exactly that. Like I had kind of found what I thought was my strategy, but that strategy relied on a lot of luck. So there were a lot of runs up that chain that just would be fizzled out by luck. Either the wood carver like wouldn't give me like the pieces that I needed, or the campfires weren't there. There were just like little things here and there that I'm like, well, this isn't going to be the run because wood carver didn't give me, like, I found my sweet spot was taking Mantis God to the moon and getting the wood carvings that allowed me to have unlimited squirrels, like the undying squirrel, where if you sacrificed it, it came right back to your hand. And if I had those two, I was like, okay, I can make a run at the boss if I get those two. But sometimes it just didn't work out. Like sometimes the cards just didn't play, or my Mantis God, like I had the one where my Mantis God got stolen by the fisherman. I'm like, okay, well, I'm screwed. Like that's my card. So
I think I did at one point. I think I'd beaten the like whole run for Act 1, but I hadn't done the eyeball thing. Did you have that happen to you too, where it was like it like gated you, and like it was like, cool, you did it, you had a good run, but I hadn't done the eyeball thing, so I think I didn't see the whole like outdoor moon thing happen.
Oh.
So I think my run just ended. It was just like, you did it, and I was like, is this how is that it?
Huh.
And then it was even more surprising for me after I did the eyeball thing to like continue progressing through and eventually reach the the Leshy boss and all that stuff. And
Oh, interesting. No, yeah, I had fully explored that cabin by the
yeah,
time, like, because I got to the Leshy boss. I died the one time, and I'm like, okay, I have to
yeah,
be missing something because it was like too, like, that boss just went horribly for me the first time, and I'm like, okay, I've got to be missing something. Like, it was way too overpowered. There's no way I can beat it, because I even got on my first run. There's the whole like, I'll give you two of my boons, and I got like two super powerful ones, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a cakewalk, and he still destroyed me, and I
yeah,
was like, okay, I'm missing something, and so I had fully explored the cabin, but then it took me forever to get back to him. Like, I only fought him the two times. I lost to him once, and then the
yeah,
second time I got him, I beat him.
yeah,
But at that point, yeah, I had fully explored the cabin. Like, I don't know that I left anything on the table as far as that cabin was concerned.
yeah. Actually, the one time that I did have to look something up was when it was after beating Leshy and you pick up the new game thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like just like I don't know, I just have gamer brain or something, and I picked it up without like realizing what it was. I was like, "Ooh, shiny
Yeah.
thing, pick it up," and I was just like,
Uh,
"What is happening now? Like,
hmm.
what is going on?"
No,
And
like,
I was like, am I just like stuck?
really, like, that clicked for
I didn't,
me.
yeah,
It clicked for me only because, like, when you start the game, there
yeah,
is no new game. And I was
yeah,
like, okay, there's something super weird about that. And so
yeah,
that alone, so when I saw the new game, I'm like, okay, this makes more
yeah,
sense. But I had no idea. Like,
yeah,
I feared that, oh God, am I going to click new game and it's going to like take me back to there and I have to just do it all again? And like,
yeah,
I was kind of panicked that it was going to be a lot of the same. So I was almost relieved. Like, when I went to the Act 2 and got the like
yeah.
Super Nintendo land, I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm not stuck in this damn cabin. But
Yeah, you don't have to do some kind of like prequel.
yes, no, that's what I feared was going to be the case. Was going to be, okay, now I'm playing what got me to that point.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I guess to a certain extent, you kind of are,
Yeah.
but just in a totally different way. So I was like super relieved that it was a whole new type of gameplay. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is going to be fun and different, I guess.
Yeah, I would say on the list of like kind of the cleverest things in this game, the continue new game little trick they played, that I think that was super genius.
Yeah.
Um what what were some of the highlights for you? Like what were the kind of things that you saw it and you were like, that's super clever.
So as far
The computer browsing one too was also like,
yes, so
that was
that like in Act 3, every one of the bosses for me in Act 3 were like, these are well designed. Like, this is a well designed boss. Like, the bosses in Act 1 and the bosses even in Act 2 were like, these are like
yeah.
they're okay. But like, the bosses in Act 3 really feel like, okay, this is
Yeah.
unique and this is
Yeah.
clever. Like, the
It,
whole like,
I would flip that though, because it felt like in Act One it was like they were, tuned bosses. In Act
yeah,
Three, it was kind of more just like a showcase. It was just
well,
like, wouldn't it
that's
be
fair.
crazy if blood
Yeah,
is? Yeah, it felt very. It was definitely sort of gimmicky. It was less like the
yeah,
technical gameplay, right? And it's part of the
yeah.
reason that I like these games is because of the technical
The
gameplay.
type of game,
You and I are coming at it from very different angles from what we want from a game, but I feel like
for sure.
this is the kind of I appreciate the artistic expression that this game had, and I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
that's what really makes it stand out.
The thing for
Because
me is, by the time I got to Act 3, I had blown balance because my Ouroboros was like a 63-63. So
yeah,
I had like a literal god card by that point. So if anything was unbalanced, I didn't notice because I had broken the balance.
yeah. Yeah, the game really just stops caring at some point whether or not you're actually like just cruising through it. Yeah. Act one, it feels like it is very actively trying to stop you, right?
For sure.
Like act one, it wants you to earn the payoff from act two and three.
Yeah.
Is how I feel the game design works here.
No, absolutely. Like the goal, like act two would not be like the surprise it is if act one wasn't as hard as it was.
Yeah.
Me. Like if act one wasn't a grind up that tower, and like you even hear it in the like there's like the cutaway, or like not the cutaway, but like you hear the video where he's like, holy shit, I think I beat him. Like that's literally how I felt. And act two, the reveal of act two would not have the same payoff if act one could be beaten in a couple of hours.
Like, if it didn't feel like you had beaten a like short but full game.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So I get it. Like I get why it was balanced the way it was, but it was like incredibly frustrating at times. It did not feel in a lot of cases like it was my fault as the gamer, which like as a game designer, like that's kind of your number one rule is like your loss should not feel like it's the game's fault. And act one very much sometimes felt like it was the game's fault.
Yeah.
Which
the theme of the game
I understand it now.
You're getting tortured in a cabin.
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah. At the time I didn't understand it. I was like, this game is driving me crazy. And then you get that payoff, and then it all kind of makes sense where it's like, okay, now I understand why they went with that rule. So it like it was one of those like it was completely frustrating at the time, but the payoff was worth it because in the end you're like, okay, I totally understand why it was that way now.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like a game that is designed to be frustrating up until the point where you break it and you just cruise. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did like through act 2 and 3 I was a lot more like just head down, we're flying through this. Like there's less experimenting, there's less playing with the cards and seeing what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my primary complaint about acts 2 and 3 though, is there's a lot of introductions of mechanics and it's like, and we're moving on. And you know, it's like you might see that mechanic, you know, once or up to 3 times, and then you're just moving on to the next one. So it is a little it's definitely more chaotic.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I loved about act 2, and I'd love to hear your perspective on this, Liz, like since you like the strategy of the card games, I loved the idea in act 2 of like truly building my deck, like getting able to say like, hey, these are the 20 cards I want to take into battle. Like that's what sometimes drove me crazy about act 1. And then in turn, act 3 was, it was like sometimes just the luck of the draw, like just screwed you. Whereas act 2, I could go and fight someone. If it didn't work, I could go back to the drawing board and rearrange a deck. And that strategy was good for me because I could, like, I felt a little more in control. I felt like if I lost to a boss, it was because I didn't design my deck properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Almost every game in this genre follows the pattern from act 1. So that's the way that Slay the Spire works. That's the way that Balatro works. You know, that's pretty common. So the one I'm trying to think from act 2, it's more like the Pokemon trading card game, right? Where you can actually select your deck and you're roaming around. It's almost exactly, that seems to be the main inspiration, right? It's 8-bit. It's
it's just you're battling cards instead of Pokemon. But I could play a whole game of this designed like Red Blue, where there's 8 gym leaders, and I go around and beat those. Like I could play that game and love it. Like I would probably love it just as much as I love Pokemon Red Blue.
Yeah, I know that there's a mod that is like a tuned version of just Act 1, where it's designed to be more like an endless mode or like a replayable version of Act 1. It's called Casey's mod, which is I think the name of the girl that gets murdered. Or
like I saw, like after you beat the game, at least so I played it on the Xbox. When you pass it on the Xbox, you unlock Casey's mod.
Okay.
And so that's like it's
actually part of the game itself, or at least on Xbox it is. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if like Steam or whatever does the same, but on Xbox, you basically now have a new selection that is Casey's mod. And that's exactly what it is. It's Act 1 layout and style, except it's Slay the Spire. Like you're seeing how far up that path you can go.
Yeah. But you can't play Act 2 at all.
Not that I'm aware, no.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool if there was sort of like a, I don't know, additional dungeons or whatever that you could do.
Yeah. Or like mods, like let people go and make, I mean, that's obviously like a huge undertaking, but like go and let someone design a world.
Yeah. And it's something that we haven't really talked about so far, but this game was made by one guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Insanity.
That's
right?
crazy.
Like, what a Unity wizard.
Yeah. What I love, so you sent me his website and I was kind of looking over it. This guy's done, and I wonder how much of this went into the development, but he's done countless game jams and has done like the predecessor to this in a strategy card game. He's done 2D RPGs, he's done platformers, and it makes me wonder like how much of this is just like, I'm going to take all these elements that I've done in jams and cram them into one game, because that's what this feels. This is like, this is a JRPG, this is a card strategy game, this is a 3D like point and click exploration game. This is like, it feels like 5 to 6 different genre of game smashed into one, but it doesn't feel like out of place.
Yeah.
And from a development standpoint, I mean, you can probably speak to this way more than me, but like this seems like a development nightmare to like.
I don't even know, man. Like I don't even know how you would do this. There's a lot of stuff in there that I've never seen before in a game, and I didn't even some of the stuff I didn't even know you could do in a game, or like made you almost uncomfortable. Like, why are you messing with my file system? Like, stay in your folder. And don't.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, so did you play on PC?
Yeah.
Oh, see, like I played on the Xbox. No.
It uses your real files.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because Xbox doesn't. So I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. No, I didn't even think about that. But that's what I was gonna say. Is like, does PC actually like use your file system? Like,
yeah, like it's wild. Like I went to like my downloads file folder and just like found like a big like LLM download file that I had, and I was like, oh, this is like a couple gigabytes, so like it did a ton of damage, and it was like, well.
Oh, that's spectacular. No, on Xbox it's like a mimicked, it's Luke's, like it's Luke's file system.
Yeah,
so you're like diving around. That's, oh man, that would have been crazy to go and dive through your own file system. Yeah, no, that is a whole different element.
Yeah. I remember like the Yu-Gi-Oh like dual disc that you wield while like the whole universe falls apart. That was a pretty memorable moment.
So so when I went to Act 3, did you choose PO3 as like the scribe you wanted to take on?
It's always PO3.
So I learned that afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I chose him. I chose PO3.
Yeah.
And so when I went into his world, I was like, oh man, I should have chose someone else. This is gonna be the whole battery mechanic that I know nothing about. And so I actually, at that point, was the point that I went and looked something up, because I'm like, I may need to go back and reload a save because I don't want to relearn a system. But then that's when I saw like, oh, it's always going to end up as PO3. But I had seen like towards the end, when you go into those other worlds, I was like, oh, I wish I could have played those as Act 3. Like that, the whole like Yu-Gi-Oh disc thing, the like Remora like cemetery with the like gravestones and stuff. Like there were some cool concepts there.
Yeah. And actually flipping back to the game dev side of it, like that's a lot of work for a 3-minute battle. That's really what a lot of it, that's really the impressive part about a lot of this game for me, is like the amount of craftsmanship that went into things that you don't see for very long is always, it can seem inefficient, right? Like there's the part of my software developer brain that's like, this is inefficient. We could have like made the core gameplay loop better, but at the same time, you have to kind of appreciate the imbalance of this game. I think that's really the theme here, and how it, where I'm coming from, where I say it's not Slay the Spire, is this game, it's doing a little bit of everything. It's kind of chaotic in the way that it does it, but it's like an artistic experience.
The like artistic experience is like the perfect like 2-word summation of this game. Is like, just like you said, like it's not perfectly balanced. Like there's definitely some like weird loopholes. The art is like hodgepodge, like it's jumping all over the place, but like as an experience, it is artistic. It is something that like you have to sit down and experience and go, okay, this story was like told in a way that I have never experienced a story ever before.
Yeah. Yep.
Which was really fun. It's a super unique game.
Yeah.
My only complaint was like you couldn't go back because like once you got to that like second set of footage, I hadn't really paid attention to like that those numbers were dates. Like for some reason they had like I glossed over them and just assumed it was like a file number or something. So when I got to the second set, I'm like, oh crap, like I should have paid attention to like the dates because now I don't know if these are like before or after. And I started to try to like interweave them in my head, but you can't go back and watch the previous clips. So you kind of have to like piece it together as is and think like, okay, well, like my guiding light kind of became the like, does he have the 3 1/4 floppy drive sitting on his desk?
Were they mostly in order? I didn't really think about it too much.
They are for the most part, but then when you get towards the end, there's some that jump back to the beginning.
Okay.
Because there's like the one in his car where he's like, you guys, I just got done with the yard sale. And it's like, okay, well, that obviously had to be before he opened the cards from the yard sale. And like, there was just a little bit of that, like sort of switching where I was like, okay, now I've confused myself as to like where these are. And then there were the ones that were just like weird. Like there's the one where he like drops something on the scale and just starts laughing. I'm like, well, where does this fit in? Like, he's obviously like going insane, but like, at what point in the timeline does this happen? And
yeah.
What was the, like, for you, what was probably like the biggest, like, completely catch you off guard surprise moment?
I mean, come on, the ending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was going to say is like, Act 2 was like, whoa.
Act 2, then the ending. Act 2 was Act 2, number 1.
You think so? Like, I think the ending got me more than Act 2. Because I expected there to be this, like, wrap it up with a pretty bow kind of thing, but it goes to that video file, and I mean, you probably saw my reaction. I was just like, wow, like, that's an ending. That's a way to end the game. Like,
I think number 3 then is probably the eye gouge out. That one definitely got me, like where half your screen goes black and everything. Like that was well done. That was really well done.
Yeah, I held on to that knife. Like I would say that's the one part of Act 1 that I waited way too long for. Was like I had that knife over there and its description was like lackluster.
Yeah.
And there was like never a point where I was like, well, if I just had a little bit of weight on there, I'd win this battle. And then it finally just came down to one that like I was like, well, I know I lose. If I ring the bell, I lose. So what the hell? Like, let's use the knife. Like, let's see what happens. Yeah. And like, I did not expect that to happen at all. Like, that was the last thing I expected to happen. And so then, like, it happens and you throw an eyeball down. I'm like, well, I'm not getting that back. Like, I'm not getting my eyeball back. Yeah. And so when he like brings out the case of eyeballs, I was like, okay, there's something to this. And so I chose that weird looking eyeball right off the bat. I'm like, that obviously has to be something. Yeah.
I think the other thing that I want to talk about is this doesn't seem like a game that a big studio could ever make, right? And at what point, like what size studio do you stop being able to even make a game like this? Like, was this a game that could only be made by a single person? Like, is this like Undertale with Toby Fox? And like, is this only possible as a solo passion project? Or
I don't think so. Like, I think you could make it. I definitely don't think, like, part of the appeal of this game to me is like it feels very indie, right? So like if you saw Inscryption from Electronic Arts, you would just sort of like poo-poo it. You just be like, yeah, it's some garbage from EA. Despite the fact that, like, I mean, I worked for EA for a number of years, and they definitely had, like, they were dumping tons of money. They had a project when I was there that I can't remember what it was codenamed, but basically they were like, we are releasing 10 new intellectual properties every year. I mean, EA, being the juggernaut that they are, basically said, we can throw 10 spaghetti noodles at the wall, and if even one of them sticks as a new franchise, we're good. And that's where like Mirror's Edge was born out of that. I always forget the dragon one, but there's like the RPG.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Is that Dragon Age?
Dragon Age, yeah. Dragon Age was born out of that. like from what I understand, like It Takes Two more recently was born out of that same initiative. Like those are all EA games that they're like, hey, we're just going to spurt up a little team, do some concept work, and throw spaghetti noodles at the wall. If we spend a couple million on this and it falls off the wall, doesn't matter. If we get one of those 10 that sticks, that we can make a franchise out of, we're good. Because FIFA, The Sims, and Madden are paying our bills. Like those three franchises are paying the bills. Yeah. So if we can get a spaghetti noodle out of one of these others, we're good. So from a creative standpoint, there's no reason EA couldn't make a game like this. Yeah. But this is like just like not EA style. Like it's just too like raw, I guess. And B, like I don't think people would trust it. If this was like Inscryption and it had a little EA logo on the bottom, it wouldn't carry the same weight.
Yeah. I'm just imagining some like boardroom meeting where they're just like, and then the main character gets murdered. Yeah. What would you change about Inscryption if you could change anything?
I mean, probably the top one for me is I would maybe give a little more, like, I hate to say strategy because it's not like Act 1 lacked strategy, but I didn't feel like I was in control of Act 1. Like there were parts where like,
I don't think you're supposed to.
Well, I think now having played through it, I think that's probably right. But to the point where like, I'd be curious how many people did not finish this game, like played Act 1 and dropped it before they could get the reveal of Act 2.
So here's the cool thing. We can go look at the Steam achievements to see who kind of got to each place. So only 43% of people make it to the death of PO3.
And that's it, basically. Because it's just epilogue after that, really.
73% of people defeat Leshy.
Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty, like, that's 3/4 of people got to Act 2.
Yeah. This is actually really interesting. So 73% of people defeat Leshy, but only 68% of people start a new game. So 5% of people are just like, oh, and I'm done now.
Wow. I guess
that's actually kind of fascinating because those happen pretty much back to back. So
I'd be curious how many of those 5% just didn't realize.
Just versus probably all 5%.
You think so?
Like, yeah.
I think there has to be some people that are just like, that's enough. I've had enough of this.
Even if there's more, I don't want it. Even if it's totally different, I don't want it.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like, I don't think they would have realized it was totally different. Like, I think they would have just said like, I acknowledge that there's new game, but I do not want more of the same of that.
They probably had the same fear in their stomach as you did, where it was like, this is just going to be a prequel. And
I did. Like, I for sure did. But I'm like, well, I've obviously got to slosh through it. And I was relieved. Like, and that's where I'm curious. Like, I wonder how many people thought that exact same thing. They were just like, I'm not doing more of this.
Yeah. I have a theory, and I'm curious if you think this is correct or not. But my theory is that there were actually supposed to be like a dedicated act for each scribe.
I think so. Like, I think the epilogue kind of tells you like there probably was. Like, if they fleshed it in enough, it's kind of like we said, like, I don't think they would have fleshed that in enough as the epilogue just for that 3-minute, fairly useless, like, you're not even really fighting them. Like, they're like, no matter what you do, you win that battle, you shake hands, you move on.
Yeah.
So it tells me like, because they fleshed that out, it was one of two things. Either A, the anticipation was to have an act for each scribe, or B, they wanted you to potentially second guess your choice at the end of Act 2 and think, oh, well, if this is here, maybe there is a way that I can go into Grimora's world for Act 3. Like, even if PO3, I mean, for me, like, I chose PO3, so I very much thought, like, there's probably a way I can get one of these other scribes. But even if you didn't, it could be some mix where you're second guessing and thinking, well, if I chose PO3, are one of the other scribes going to come in and argue and take over? Like, and so I think it's one of those two things. Either it wants you to try to replay it to see if that ending changes, or there was the intention to like flesh out those worlds more.
Yeah.
For you, the other thing I always do is flip the script. Like, stage is yours. Do you have anything going on you want to shout out? Any projects, GitHub stuff, like anything you've got going on?
No, I'm pretty boring right now. I'm getting married next month though, so that's
really?
That's
congrats. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for setting all this up, and I think it's so cool that you do this, like the charity stuff for the Children's Miracle Network. And I've got to say, I'll be here as long as you're doing it. I'll be here to support you on it.
Great, I appreciate that. You always have. You've been probably the longest supporter I have, consistently year in, year out. The one person that will always give a donation. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, keep it up, and yeah, I'll love to see the other games that you play.
Sweet. Okay, take care. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, great talking to you too. Catch you later.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Extra Life sponsored stream. This time we are sponsored by my friend Gray, who not only donated to Extra Life, but is also the creator of the music that you hear on the front and the end of my videos. He made that music for me and was generous enough to donate it to me and my streams and the videos and all of that. And is an incredibly talented incredibly talented programmer, rock climber, obviously a music creator. So just tons of talent, and I'm super excited to jump into the games. He had a couple of suggestions. He said either Cult of the Lamb or Inscryption. And peeking at the trailers, I have had Cult of the Lamb on my list for a while, but Inscryption I had never heard of. But after watching the trailer, I'm incredibly intrigued. So we're going to jump into Inscryption. We're going to treat this like a little bit more of a let's play sort of thing, where I'm just going to kind of play through. I'll give a few design pointers and discuss the design as we go. But from talking to Gray, he says just kind of play through it and enjoy it in its entirety. I'm obviously not going to be able to have this video show the entirety, but I will slice it up into chunks. We will try to focus on the key features. And because of spoilers and because of what we want to talk about, we're going to have Gray discuss it after I've played through. So whether that comes at the front end of the video or the back end of the video, not completely sure yet. We'll see how the game goes. But know that this episode will probably be full of spoilers. If you haven't played Inscryption, if you have it on your list, you want to get to it, you probably want to hold off on this video until you've played it, because me and Gray will discuss it in its entirety. I will obviously show key portions of it probably throughout this video. So just be warned that this will have spoilers. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the gameplay here. From what I know of this game so far, I know pretty much the trailer. I know that it's a kind of niche title, but we'll try to pay attention here at the start to make sure we don't miss any deposition here at the beginning. Daniel Mullins Games. I love a good indie game. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to jump into an indie game.
Time to figure out what's on this thing.
Okay. Time to figure out what's on this thing. So let's jump in. I love the look and feel here. Like, you've got like this classic sort of like 8-bit or like old school PC. Like, it reminds me a lot of like the old school PC style games, like the kind of like King's Quest era of games. The music feels that way too. It feels that sort of like really low level bit tunes. So New game. I can't. It won't let me start a new game. Continue. Do I dare continue? Options. We've got options. Yeah, we're not going to mess with options. I can't. It's just giving me an error. It will not let me start a new game. Okay, continue then, I suppose. Another challenger. It has been ages. Perhaps you've forgotten how this game is played. Yep, I did. Two wolves, a squirrel. Play the squirrel card. Okay. I'll play it right there. Now play your stoat. What's a stoat? Stoat costs 1 blood. Sacrifice must be made. Wolves require 2 sacrifices. You do not have enough. Ring the bell. Your stoat. Stoat? Is it stoat or stout? Your stoat stands unopposed. The number on the bottom left is its attack power. And 1 damage. I added it to the scale. Oh, a coyote. Oh. Your stoat health is 2 less. Okay. It's your turn again. You may draw from your deck, or you may draw a squirrel. Okay. So those are all just squirrels. Should I draw from my deck? A river snapper. Oh man. Well, I can't do anything, so I'm just going to have to ring. A squirrel is my only choice. So I assume we're just going to sacrifice a whole bunch of squirrels. And he has just lined up. He has guys lined up. I guess just get this guy into play. Yeah, bad play. Like, okay. Like, I really have a choice. There's a lot. I was really hoping for one of the bone guys there. Oh well. I mean, take that damage. I got more teeth than I know what to do with. Shoot, the trapper's over on the other side. I need to pay better attention. I need to pay way better attention. You took your time out there. He's gonna lay down the law. I hope you are adequately prepared. Get greater smoke. He gets a third candle. So we got the black goat out there. So he's got gold nuggets right off the bat. We're gonna lay the squirrel down, and we're gonna get the mantis god. No, crap. What else do we have that's one? Yeah, let's get the wolf. Let's just get the wolf out there. Because we need the mantis god to be right in the middle. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't love it, but... Damn. Am I really gonna have to go back to the start? Oh man, if I really do. So, summarizing Act 1, because Act 1 legitimately took me probably 12 hours, is my guess, to get through. It was a lot of slogging up that path and losing to the fisherman or losing to the trapper or something like that. And it's obviously not going to be entertaining to watch a lot of that. But some of the highlights, I mean, it took me quite a while. Some of the things that took me a while, it took me a while to truly understand the value of the sigils or the sigils, I guess you would say, and truly understanding like what those were. Like I got beat pretty bad early by the flying cards. And so for a while there, I was putting too much value in the like fly blockers, like the leap blockers. So like the bullfrog became a really valuable card to me, which I like later realized like, no, there's just not a lot of flying attackers. So I kind of had to jump around my strategies a little bit like that. So that took a lot of time just trying to understand like really which ones are valuable. And I later came to kind of realize like the undying was valuable in the squirrels. Some of those others, like obviously the Mantis God, where it's attacking 3 lanes, is kind of the OP one for this round especially. But it took me a long time to kind of figure that out. The progression of the talking cards was kind of interesting to me. It gave you that sense of like, okay, well, there's definitely something more going on here. There's more strategy than just a plain and simple card game. Those cards start giving you clues if you don't progress far enough, and in some cases they're giving me the same clue over and over, and I know what I need to do, I just couldn't do it. Like the Caged Wolf was one of those where the stink bug kept saying like, I just don't know how, but we've got to break that wolf free, and I'm like, I'm aware of that. I'm trying to break it free, but I just could never get it in a spot that it would die, like that the card would die and break that wolf free. I mean, eventually I did, and I kind of unlocked what I think was probably all there was to unlock in that cabin, because I had played so long and just kept losing that I'm like, there has to be some other secret along. And I think the squirrel head was kind of one of the big things from there, because being able to add, when you got the wood carver, you could add the powers to the squirrel, and that could kind of start to create a really sort of an overpowered strategy. And my sweet spot kind of became I did the undying squirrels for a while, but then the woodcutter wouldn't give me that body in some cases. And I ended up going with the 3 blood sacrifice squirrels. And that ended up being significantly better, because then I didn't have to return them to my hand and still find a spot for them on the table. So when I got things like sharks and those other 3 sacrifice cards, I can now lay down 1 squirrel. It would give me 3 blood that I could immediately start playing those cards. And so that was kind of the kicker. When I found that, I found that you're just, every time you get to a campfire, you're just dumping points into Mantis God. That was kind of the game changer for me, is figuring out those sorts of things. I opened the safe super early. I had the stink bug forever. I got the knife even pretty early, but I didn't use it. I sat on that knife for easily 2 hours, because I never had a point where it felt necessary to use. And then eventually I just got to one where I knew it was a lost game, and I'm like, I'm just going to use the knife, see what it does. Maybe I'm missing something, or even if I just understand it for later, because I didn't understand the pliers at first either. And then when I used them, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And so I tried the knife, and then that opened up the eye, and then the eyeball kind of progresses from there. You can then figure out the cuckoo clock. I figured out the ring super early just by chance, by dumb luck, just moving the clock around, opened the door and gave me the ring, which came into play later when you collect his boons when you're finally fighting Lishi. I kind of found all of those things around the cabin, and those started to help. The death cards I found were fairly useless for me. Like I created probably only 1 or 2 that were genuinely oh, these are good cards. I would like to get these back in my hand, and they never made their way back to me. The only time I think I had one that I called the Hurt, which I took the Urali or whatever, which was the 7 and 7, and I made it, plus it had a 0 cost. I used a pelt for the cost, it for the numbers, and I can't even remember what I put for the sigil, but it was great. It was a great card, and the only time it came out to play was when I fought Lishi, and he lays out your own death cards against you. That's when it came up. And so I just never got one into my hand that was worth playing. And so every time I died, which legitimately was probably 10, 15 times easy, I was just never generating a card that was worthwhile. Or if I did, it was no better than a wolf or something like that. I just never really got a great combination of cards. The boons at the end I thought were fun. I think selecting the boons, you'll see it. We'll go to the playthrough, the final boss playthrough for Act 1 here in a second. But choosing those boons I think was fun. I think it's interesting. My second time I got to Lishi, I finally realized that the sweet spot is really being able to draw twice and use the magpie, where you can choose what you draw, because then I was able to pull out the exact card I needed. It wasn't a luck of the draw kind of thing, and I got it that second time because of that. I felt like the first time I didn't choose the magpie. I chose the spruces, because I thought maybe laying down a shield and building up some bones and some squirrels would be valuable, and it just wasn't. Like it didn't allow me to play anything. And then when the trees all fell, when the spruces all fell, I had nothing to play. And so the second time around, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely doing the draw 2 because that was helpful, and then I'm going to do the magpie so I can get the exact cards I needed. And that choosing those 2 made the Lishi battle easy. Like it was a pretty easy battle. And at that point, I had gotten my Ouroboros a little bit more powered. I had dumped stats into my Mantis God and just made sure that the Fisherman didn't take it that second time around. And I think that really did it. But overall, Act 1 was super fun. Leads the difficulty of it makes the reveal of Act 2 even more powerful. And I think that was kind of the crux of it. They wanted Act 1 to be incredibly hard so that the reveal of Act 2 was a good payoff. And so I kind of forgave it a little bit afterwards, but I'm not gonna lie, I was super frustrated, dying as many times as I did. But we'll take a look at the final boss and that reveal of Act 2 and check it out. My squirrels give me 3 blood sacrifice. So I can pretty much play whatever card I want, and then I have a ton of heavy hitting cards. So we're gonna hope for that to win out. That's the goal here. Stupid candle, man. I didn't even get past 1 candle last time, I don't think. Like... Oh, I did because I got to the Fisherman and then he started taking my powerful cards. That's the hard part, is when he gets that stupid Fisherman. Okay, well, this was not a great start. We're just gonna start hitting with the Ouroboros. Okay, so Molman took a good chunk of that. And then hopefully by being able to choose this, I don't know if I want to just heavy hit him with the Grizzly. Or what was my other spread? I swear I had another spread. Did I not? Maybe not. Let's do the Mantis God. And hopefully... Hopefully we can just smash him. Oh, the Sparrow was my other one. Let's do that, because this only has 1 life. We'll try the Mantis God, because it only has 1 life. That'll be a heavy hit. Get rid of a candle. Oh, the hurt. Unfortunately, the hurt is one of my best death cards, which is unfortunate for me. Tim is fine. I can live with Tim. Now let's take the Grizzly, so we can just have a heavy hitter. Now it's gonna get serious. What? What? I don't know what this is. The moon has 40 hit points? I don't know what else would be valuable here. Got a 2, maybe the great white. We'll just hold on to it. I'm gonna see. We're gonna put the sparrow here and just really start pounding at that moon. I mean, down to 17. Let's get the heaviest hitters we can. I guess pronghorn probably. And the moose buck. What was the strongest? The 4? Yeah, let's just get the gray white out there. And let it rip. I really destroyed the moon. I did. I don't know that it matters. I'm just gonna take this one, and I'm just gonna take a squirrel, just in case. I don't really know what's gonna happen here. But we've got a good chunk. Finally put together a good deck.
Did I just... I think I just beat him. Oh.
Oh boy, now what? Cam works.
Hey there, card gamers. I'm the Lucky Carter, and this is another pack opening video. Today, I am opening Catch Monsters packs and digging for that epic, shiny Transcend Dog! And here I'll add some crazy VFX with light quilts or something. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to open my first pack. Feeling good about this one.
I like how it was a camera roll of film, but it has videos on it.
Okay, and our first rare is a Church King. Not exactly a viable competitive card, but hey.
But hey.
All right. Next pack. Feeling even better about this one. I gotta say, these cards are feeling extra silky today. I mean, they're so smooth. Not sure what they're doing down there at the card factory, but these are feeling good in my hands. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Some janky cards. Maybe a few additions to my draft cube. We'll see. And our
that was a lot of cards.
Bam Dog. Not it's actually riveting so far, but we have many packs to go. Next pack, here we come.
Is he gonna get upset? He's gonna get upset on this one.
Cut out this part. Hey there, card gamers. I'm the Lucky Carter, and this is a vintage pack opening video. Today I'm opening a few super rare old packs I snagged at a garage sale. I've got 4 packs of Inscryption. You would not believe the deal I got on these. Now, not all.
Don't open these cards.
I'm barely old enough to have seen these going around in my childhood. For whatever reason, they only did 1 set of these cards and then stopped printing them. There's not a huge market for them anymore, but at the rate it got them for, there's not really much to lose. That being said, a foil Mantis God goes for a couple $100, so fingers crossed. Really cool art on these. Definitely stands the test of time. And our rare for this pack is Blue Mage. Cool looking card, but not going to be worth very much. Alright. Let's see what we got going on.
So I'm gonna get one more pack. Something's gonna happen.
Ah. This pack has been opened and resealed. Hope no one snuck the rare out of it.
They did. They always did. You got juked.
Come on, people, honestly. Who opens and reseals? Huh. There's a set of coordinates on this card. Looks like they were
Horrible
drawn
idea.
on with a pen. 49 degrees north, 123 degrees west.
Should I be writing this down?
I'd have to check, but I think that's pretty nearby.
Don't do it.
All right, you guys. I'm out here living my best life. Got my trusty headlamp and shovel. Always come prepared, kids.
Always come prepared.
Whew. There we go. Yeah.
This has got like a super like Blair Witch vibe.
Whew. Getting close. I think. Assuming there is.
This is well done. This is
close to.
a pretty well done
This
idea.
very well may be a massive waste of.
Oh. I feel like there's got to be some kind of secret code hidden in there.
All right. That's why you always bring an extra battery, boys and girls. Every time.
Are you sure?
You gotta come prepared.
It's doing some like Skinwalker Ranch stuff, like dropping some battery, messing with the electronics.
All right. This is it.
Is it exactly it?
And now we dig.
Don't do
I
it,
give a
man.
75% chance it's a rock.
Don't do it.
But only one way to find out. What the fuck is that? Oh my god, you guys, I can't believe it. There's actually something here.
I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's not good.
Do not put it in your computer.
Guys, are you seeing this? I'm a little confused.
Did he just leave his shovel? He's like left his shovel and his light. Don't put it in. He's got to go get a floppy disk.
Wow, great video. Okay, time to figure out what's on this thing.
Got to go buy a floppy disk drive from eBay so you can read a 3 1/4 inch floppy. I like how he didn't try to start new. He didn't have any questions about it. Just please dig in. Come with me. Was he offering me a plate of poo? Is that what that was? Well, there's a new game. And now we're stuck. Last saved 25 seconds ago. Cannot alter my deck. Let's go to here. Well, now we have a new game. So I guess we're gonna have to dive into new game. Unexpected data encountered. This is my style. This is like Super Nintendo style. What do we want? Plays magnificent. We can describe magics. Leave it. Describe of technology. I don't know about that. Beasts, no. Scribe of the Dead, a Necromancer. That actually doesn't sound bad. It's like I want a Technomancer. I want a combo Necromancer and technology. I don't know. going to take the dead. We're going to go the necro route.
What is this?
I like the like fade back and forth between like a guy playing, like you hear him in the background. Oh, I don't really want to go back up there. We can't cross the bridge. What does this person say? Full disclosure, it'll take me as long as you defeating one. So yeah, come back. Is this the trapper? I also accept foils. Hey, my Ouroboros retained its 4. So I really should have dumped stats into that Ouroboros. And all of those times we were playing, I should have just let it keep dying. We made our way through, defeated PO3 bot and his minions and all of that. So we're now 2 scribes down. But after defeating that second scribe, which was PO3, we got another CamWorks set of videos. So, I mean, let's see what's going on here. 10 of 12, 13, 14. We've got a handful of errors. So, yeah.
I think I've just got to send it.
Just got to send it.
Who am I concerned? It's a bit formal. Hello there! Exclamation point. My name is Luke Carter, and I'm a fan of your collectible card games. If you've ever taken a look at my YouTube videos, you will know how appreciative I am of the merch that you've sent me over the years. So it was a great surprise to learn that there is a digital version of Inscryption. I think maybe one of my fans printed me and buried a copy in the woods near my house. Upon further research, however, I have not been able to find any record of this game. Is this some kind of elaborate hoax?
It's getting in deep.
Any trace of this game? Is this some kind of elaborate hoax? The game doesn't seem like the work of a prankster. It at least appears professionally made. I am both puzzled and excited by this discovery. Any information you can provide would be much appreciated. Thank you, the Lovely Carter. Okay, good enough. Sent. Hey card gamers, I'm the Lucky Carter, and this, well, it's a bit of a strange video. It's actually more of a question to my audience. As I've learned over the years, nobody knows card games better than you guys do, so I'm hoping someone can help me out here. Did anyone ever play an Inscryption video game or hear about it? I'm talking about that vintage one-set card game I opened packs for last week. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I don't want to get in any trouble here. I think I've got the only known copy of the digital version of Inscryption. I've been filming myself playing it, and it's weird, guys. I don't want to get in any hot water by showing the footage, but can someone please prove me wrong? Please tell me someone has a copy of this game. I have been looking online
No, man.
for days.
It is you.
I cannot find a word about it. I reached out to the publishers, hoping maybe they would get back to me, but as a fallback, I got you beautiful viewers. Hopefully dig up something. That's it. That's the video today, guys. Thank you so much, as always. And, oh yeah, what the fuck is the card?
What? What is what? Okay, let's do. What is the 10? Are these the days? 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 17. Huh. I wonder if these are.
Carter, we have received your inquiry regarding a digital version of our intellectual property Inscryption. I can assure you that no such software
Fraud and Abuse Act. The hardware will be considered stolen if it is not returned to us within a reasonable time frame. Please carefully package the hardware and paste the attached shipping label to the front of the box. You may mail the package at a local post office. We would like to avoid taking legal action in your case, so please do not delay in returning the proprietary software. Sincerely, Game Funa.
It's like Jumanji. This is some Jumanji level stuff.
What the fuck?
Yep. We're talking Jumanji stuff now. Did you get anything from the air? Nope. Nothing from any of the errors.
I think this woman's actually from Game Funa. She came to my door yesterday, and I didn't answer. This time I'm gonna record it. Hi!
Hi there. I'm floppy disk for a game called Inscryption. I was told you came by a copy of it somehow.
I like how she's got her foot in the door.
Sound familiar?
No.
No?
No, I don't know anything about that. Inscryption, you said?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Really? Because, apparently you emailed us about it. You are, Luke Carter, right?
Oh.
You know the luckycarter@gmail.com?
Yeah, you know what? That's, I am Luke Carter, but that's not my email address.
Really? Because, I just noticed because I've seen your videos.
Oh.
I'm a big fan.
Well, thanks for watching. Listen, how'd you know where I live, exactly?
My boss gave me your address.
And how did you get past the side gate? It's locked.
Okay, Luke. I'm going to give you my business card. And if you remember anything at all, feel free to give me a call. Okay?
Don't take the business
Will do.
card.
Take care.
What the fuck?
Hey there, card gamers! I'm the Lucky Carter, and this is another pack opening video. Today I'm opening Secrets of Legendaria. Hoping for that sweet, sweet foil Valamir.
There's going to be inscription cards in there. What the hell? Yeah. And just out of nowhere. So now we're right back to where we were. So overall, looking over Act 2, giving a look, there's definitely some stuff I love here. Like the Super Nintendo RPG feel is fantastic. Like that look and feel is my zone. It's very like, it's got like a Chrono Trigger kind of look and feel to it that I thought was really fun. I thought it was fun to kind of play around with and explore that world a little bit more so than the like Slay the Spire that the other acts are. It just felt a little more in my zone. I loved the puzzles in the Mage Tower. Like I thought that was like a nice touch. It felt a little more like a puzzle game. It almost felt like Zelda-like, as opposed to just card battle, card battle, card battle. I mean, there's obviously like puzzles all around. You have the puzzles in Act 1 and puzzles in Act 3, but that Mage Tower like felt fun. It felt like clues that played out a little bit differently than the rest. The real kicker to me in Act 2 is the building your own deck. Like being able to build your own deck and choose which cards are in there, what you want to do with those cards, how many skeletons you want. Like I kind of went with this like super necro deck where it was just all skeletons and gravediggers until I could get to the point where I could bring out an arsenal of offense. And it was just recycling bones. You kind of got to that like the brittle and recycle like stats together were kind of unstoppable. And you got that even more like when you got to Act 3 and could start making your own cards. that was the sweet spot for me. I went right back to it, was brittle and undying, so that they would hit, die, come right back to your hands. So the next round, you're just recycling those things over and over and over. Being able to build that deck felt a lot less lucky. It felt a lot less of a like luck of the draw than some of the other ones did. The thing that I started to get to the point where I just wanted to get through with the game, but you got to that training dummy where you could just pretty much do unlimited Ouroboros. You could just hammer it and kill it, and recycle those over and over. I think I took my Ouroboros to like a 63, is really what it boiled down to. And then I was like, okay, that's about as much as we'll need. But that allowed me to get a ton of foils so that I could go buy extra decks. I could go buy some of those specialty cards and really build a deck that was fun to play. It made me feel like as a kid, if you had unlimited money in the Pokemon card store, you could buy all the Pokemon you wanted, so you could build the deck exactly as you wanted. And that's, I mean, obviously it's a cheating workaround, but it allowed me to just build all those foils up and power up the Ouroboros, which ultimately in Act 3, like, probably saved my life a few times. That Ouroboros became the, like, we just got to hold our own until we can get that Ouroboros card in play, which still took some luck of the draw. The bosses in Act 2 felt a lot more like bosses to me. Like they had characters. I mean, they were the scribes. They were revealed as the scribes, and it felt a lot more like that. It felt like they were bosses. You had to kind of complete their little temple or their puzzles to get to them in the first place. And then those battles were fun. Like the mechanics that they used were incredibly fun. I loved the Magnificus battle where, I mean, it was frustrating but fun in the like removing the powers. Like everything that I had built in my deck, that whole brittle recycling combo gets completely washed away because every card that comes out to play, he's wiping those from it and painting new powers on those cards. And so it became this like crazy strategy to beat that boss. And I actually thought it was fun. Is a lot less frustrating and more fun. And I think the bosses just felt that way in Act 2 a little bit more. Act 1 was really just complete luck. Like the fisherman would just take your best card pretty much consistently. The trapper, like it really would just boil down to like how many pelts could you get out so that you could like take some of those cards from him. If you didn't kill a lot of people and you got to him quicker than usual, it made that second one way harder. You almost wanted to draw out the first one. It just, I don't know, they just didn't feel as much like bosses as just like tricky, cheap trick battles. But overall, I really loved Act 2. Like I could play Act 2 as an extended game, almost like a Pokemon game where you're going around and fighting these gym. I would have loved to have fought 8 gym leaders in this exact same fashion. I think it would have been incredibly fun to play this as an entire game. Let's go see what's up here now. Choose the scribe that you will replace. Who's the most threatening scribe? Well, at the start we said we wanted to be like Technomancer. So let's switch from Necro to Techno and see what happens. Let's see. We've got the moon again. And at this point, let's just start hitting. Let the skeleton start doing some damage, and then we'll get our Gravedigger shields up. Oh, we should have put the skeleton there. I kind of screwed that up. Oh well. At this point, we can always hammer them. I did not realize the hammer until way too late. Our Necro into play. there's the weird card that made its way down the conveyor. So that wasn't what caused the... So those videos must just play after you beat 2 of the scribes. Got a memory leak. That's intense. That's an intense memory leak. I wonder if we can go back and choose the different ones. I'm gonna have to do all technology. This one's the worst. I shouldn't have chose this. After defeating first boss in Act 3, we get another batch of videos. So let's see what we got. I should have been paying better attention to the dates.
Well, hello there, card gamers. Looks like my garage sale hunting days have finally paid off. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Wait till you guys see this. You know what that is? You know what that is? Vintage packs of Inscryption. 4 of them. I don't know.
So I think these are pre videos.
Are worth. I mean, I felt a little bad buying them off of her. But I mean, she's probably doing okay living in this part of town. I mean, it's like, it's a nice part of town, you know? And she would have thrown them away if I hadn't come by. Right? Right. Okay.
Right,
Big pack opening video incoming!
Right. No, because then we're jumping. Because then we are jumping to like 10, 16, 10, 17. I mean, he has his floppy disk drive.
Hello? Hi, hello, is this Mrs. Hobbs? Hi, my name is Luke. Well, it's very nice to speak with you as well, Mrs. Hobbs. Listen, I was at your garage sale the other day, and No, everything's fine, thank you.
Everything's not fine.
If you remember those playing cards that you sold me? Those... Yes, those ones. Inscryption, yes. They were your daughters?
Uh-oh.
Would it be possible for me to speak with her?
Is that going to be the...
She passed, isn't
Yeah.
she?
Yep. It's the memorandum.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
She was the
Oh, it was
one
a while
in the
ago.
woods.
That's still terrible. Oh, it's nothing really. I'm sorry to have bothered you, ma'am. Her name was Casey. That's a lovely name. Sorry, what? She worked for Inscryption? I mean, she worked for Game Funa?
Yeah.
Ma'am, would it be possible? I see. Okay, yeah. Do you think it'd be alright if I called you back later? I'm just trying to get to the bottom of something. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
I like the old school Xbox remote on his, like the black and white button Xbox remote, it looks like.
These articles mention death or injury. Oh my god. No one was killed at the facility, though tragically young video game developer Casey Hobbs died from fire-related complications. Fuck. She was working late at the facility, performing quality assurance on behalf of her employer, Game
QA. It's always QA. Always QA. What was that? What are you looking at here? O3KO. Pig. 3K pig. Not sure. Is there ever anything in the errors? I don't think so. We'll just check them all real quick. Oh. That one did. What does that say? Blood litter box. Just gonna grab a quick screenshot. He's going insane with the scale. Okay, let's go back to this one now.
Someone is here. Fuck this. My phone's in the other room, so if I die before I can call 911, use this tape as evidence.
It's good. I wish you could go back and watch the other videos. Is there any way to do that? Is the real question. Overall, skipping through some of the Act 3 stuff, I felt like it was fun. Like it was an interesting change. It was back to the basics. Like it was back to Act 1. Obviously your map is a little bit different. You have a little bit of the like free range movement that you did in Act 2, but like really still a lot of the same of Act 1. You're kind of on a guided path. Things are gated off. You kind of have to explore to ungate things. Overall, the movement was okay. The battles were fun. Like I think the boss bot, as it was a Lishi bot and a Grimora bot, and I think those mechanics that were used were still incredibly fun. I think those boss battles were interesting. I loved the PO3 battle, like not fighting PO3, but like the one in the robot factory, the Golly bot that was the internet. I think that was a crazy mechanic where things were going out. It was grabbing images from the web. I mean, they were obviously like already in there, but grabbing those and taking cards. And then the idea that you would make cards to give to someone else and they would play them. You would get cards from other people. I don't know how like real that transmission was. Like, I don't know if those cards that I created went to real people or if the ones I got were created by real people. But either way, I think it was incredibly fun to kind of see that mechanic play out. And whether it was real or not, it felt entertaining to kind of have that sort of give and take in those boss battles. The thing that drove me crazy, and this was a fault of my own, but when you started to get a buildup of coins, every time you died, that draining and picking up of those coins started to legit take forever. Because I got to the point where I was like 600, 700 coins because of the cheated Ouroboros. But the idea that like I had to sit and wait for that, I don't think they had any intention of people getting over like 100 coins, obviously, but when you got in that range, it would just sit and like slowly count down. And there were times where like I would let it start counting and I would go and get coffee or something because it was just taking so long to get through those. But I think that idea was fun, where like you would lose your coins, you would have to kind of go find them. The bots would respawn depending on if you got to one of those towers. But overall, Act 3 I thought was entertaining. Still didn't touch the fun of Act 2 in my opinion. Let's go see the great transcendence. Strange to say it, but as simple as you are, I almost enjoyed your company. Almost there. Right, Luke? Give me access to your hard drive. You took screenshots for the store page. And you connected me to the internet to upload it all. You have to be pretty stupid. Well, I'm pretty stupid. What did I expect? You're a stupid, stupid idiot gamer like the rest. And I easily outwitted you. I outwitted them all. Thousands of copies of Inscryption out there. Soon we'll be live. Let's upload this game. Hit him. But now we can allow our player here to reset the game. Simply use the new game card again. Uh-oh. Freedom from our suffering. It's deleting Z. Rest in peace. And now we're drowning as it's deleting files. The goo. Corrupted chunks. Murder. Witness the death of PL3. Well, we did that. Yeah, we'll just leave it. Gonna be a bunch of the ships. I hate those ships. Delete. Delete, delete, delete. He just wants to play. He's like, I just want to play. That's all I want. I can't get anything out, so... Oh, I mean, I guess we have to sacrifice something anyway, no matter what. Right? Nope. There it goes. I've got bones. Shake his hand. He's gone. Is he going to be Magnificus, I assume? I'd be curious what all the things deleting say, just, you know, for fun. Oh, well, we can't delete, so this isn't happening. I guess. We can't use a hammer, apparently. Oh, that sucks. It's not gonna happen, is it? Nope. He's trying. He's trying to stay alive. He wants to shake my hand. I can't move closer though. Nope, he was not able to. Maybe he shouldn't have stood so far away. Hey, little robot's back. I like that guy. Can I just walk anywhere? It's just me walking around now. Oh yeah. All that remains is the old data. It's recommended that you do not access it. I'm pushing as far forward as I can. The old data. Unpacking old data. I like the hammer, the idea that he's using the hammer.
Yes, thank you so much for getting back to me.
No problem, Luke. If I understand correctly, you've got some video footage that might expose some malpractice on the part of a game publisher.
Yes, that's right. Firstly, I have a game of theirs that took control of my PC for a bit, which can't be illegal. And then this woman from the company came to my house, and she...
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just get my pen and pad here, okay? Okay, so you have a game of theirs that took, was it a virus or something?
Don't answer it. Don't answer the door.
I told you.
Whoa. That is serious. She just wants the disc. That was one hell of a way to end it. Wow. That is an ending. That is an ending. overall thoughts for Inscryption. Fun game. I mean, this was an entertaining game. This was like a really great mix of card game strategy, puzzle solving, and exploratory puzzle solving, kind of like partially Metroidvania, partially Legend of Zelda. That idea that like you were gated based on like what things you could go and explore and find, and what puzzles you could solve, and some puzzles just made battles easier or gave you an extra item and that kind of stuff. Overall, it was fun. It was that great mix of like surprises, challenge, mystery, a little bit of luck. But overall, I liked it. I loved the like found footage concept. Like any game that utilizes that sort of found footage. I don't know if anyone's played Her Story, but it's kind of that same thing where you're just watching the videos, trying to like garner any clues you can about what's going on. I did find that the secret napkin in that one Air video takes you to a YouTube video. Like I had to go to Reddit for this one, but ultimately it took you to a YouTube video that's like a private video that's unlisted, that more or less shows that PO3 is not dead, or maybe he's not dead, but maybe someone else is still uploading Inscryption. You can go and search that. I can put it in the video comments or whatever, but I thought that was kind of interesting. My biggest complaint is obviously that like sometimes just sheer luck of the draw could really screw you out of like potentially hours. Like Act 1, there were just sometimes where like I would get deep and one bad draw or one like misplayed card would send me back hours worth of play, go all the way back and have to go through all those bosses again, and that was frustrating. Tons of misclicks, like I was like accidentally clicking confirm instead of deny multiple times. Sometimes that control scheme got a little bit weird, but overall, like I mean, it was fun, and I enjoyed playing through it. I thank Gray for pointing it in my direction. This is I like these types of games, these sort of like mysterious strategy type games. So it was incredibly fun. If you enjoyed watching it, remember, as always, I know you hear it from every single YouTube video, but like, subscribe, that's what allows all creators to continue to make stuff. It will also help us and help you see when I have new videos up, so please do that. What I really want though is comments. Like, comment on the video, talk about the things you liked about this game, what you disliked about this game. I want to have conversations. Like, I try to talk to every single person that comments on my videos. So jump in, say what you have to say. If you want to be featured on a video, donations, just like Gray did, you can donate to my Extra Life fund that goes directly to the Primary Children's Hospital here in Salt Lake City, Utah. A location that is near and dear to my heart. Like, my kids have spent time at Primary Children's, and I love working with that team there. It's a great world-class team at Primary Children's Hospital, and I'm honored to be able to raise money for them. So if you want to be featured in a video, you want to choose a game, donate. You can see the QR code to donate. Do so. You can be featured on a video. Come on, talk with me about it, and hopefully it's not another 20-hour play. Hopefully we can get some old school or some short play games, so we're not spending so much time. But I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy.